10:54, and we're back from executive session. We do have two items. Terry, if you could read the HIBs under education, please.
Okay, move to approve the recommendation of the superintendent to approve the following incidents. 2018 E7 substantiated, 2018 H7 unsubstantiated.
Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please, Barbara.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mr. Robbins?
Yes.
Mr. Drew?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Huber?
Yes.
Mr. Seidowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Foodie?
Yes. Then we also have motion to approve the continuation of Nathania Simon, the special counsel for special education and other matters as assigned with her new firm of Scarinci and Hollenbach for the same terms and rates of the current retainer.
Second.
We need a second.
I did.
She did.
I'm sorry, I
Oh,
didn't say
it was
very
quiet.
loud.
All right.
Sorry.
Okay.
Hey, what's the appropriate time to ask if we can solicit bids for other attorneys?
I think it's a July 1 to June 30,
Well, you do it way before that.
so prior to
Should be
June 30.
March, probably.
What's the procedure? Do I need to make a motion, or can I just ask for that? How does that work?
You make the
What if I'm not in that
motion,
committee?
make the
You bring it up to
make the motion
chairperson.
under new business, Glenn. It's as simple.
So the spring.
And get a second and then vote on it, discuss it and vote on it.
All right.
Any
Any comment?
comments? No, okay. Roll call, please, Barbara, on that motion to approve the continuation of Nathania Simon.
Mr. Seidowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Drew?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Foodie?
Gonna abstain.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mr. Huber?
No.
Mr. Robbins?
Passed.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Need a motion to adjourn the meeting. It is 10:56.
Oh, wait a minute.
It was made and seconded.
Made. Second.
No. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. As you said, Alex, what am I doing here?
Top one.
Check the top of the sign.
Check it,
Yes, that's our,
And then-
our file. We follow.
and then my signature and print my name.
Merry Christmas. Enjoy the holiday.
See you happy and through the new year. And through the new year.
Wow.
Welcome,
My
everyone.
goodness.
No mics? Just lean down, talk into it. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the workshop regular meeting of the West Milford Board of Education. It's December 19th, 2017. I hope you all have your Christmas shopping done. I'd ask that you please silence your cell phones and note the location of the emergency exits in the room. Tonight, unfortunately, I'd like to have a moment of silence for Mr. Carpenter, who a resident in town who had passed away and left behind 2 daughters and a wife. It's a real tragedy, so if we could have a moment of silence, please. Please stand for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, the public notice of this meeting has been sent to board members, all district schools, the Herald News, the Trends, the Record, the Messenger, West Milford Town Hall, County Superintendent's Office, the Board Attorney, Cablevision of Warwick, and has been posted in the Administration Building. Copies of the board meeting calendar resolution were provided to all local media, Town Hall, Township Library, and all district schools. Roll call, please, Mrs. Francisco.
Mr. Bailey, Mr. Seidowitz, Mr. Drew,
Here.
Mrs. Dwyer,
Here.
Mr. Robbins, Mrs. Fritz,
Here.
Mr. Huber,
Yep, here.
Ms. O'Brien, Mr. Foodie.
Present. Glenn, would you do the honors of reading the executive session resolution, please?
Certainly resolved that the board go into executive session at approximately 9 p.m. or as soon thereafter as is possible for approximately 30 minutes for the purpose of discussing personnel appointments, resignations, current litigation matters, special education matters, negotiations, HIBs, and the matters of attorney-client privilege. The executive session minutes will not be released until such time as the privilege of confidentiality is no longer applicable.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Alex, superintendent's report, please.
All right, good evening, everybody. Happy holidays and Happy New Year as well. It's not on the board agenda because this incident came up after the board agenda was printed and sent out, but last Friday, on the 15th, West Milford High School had a shelter in place in the morning. I just wanted to clear up some inaccuracies or confusion as best I could. We received a call from the police department at approximately 6:30 in the morning on Friday. They were contacted by one of our students and one of our parents saying that they heard something about a weapon being brought to school. So they reached out to the school administration, myself, Mr. Gorski, and we conducted a joint investigation. By the time we got everybody to the high school, we had law enforcement officers from the police department at our front door, at our rear door, at our side door, and we brought the 3 or 4 students that were mentioned in the original rumor into the main office. After a brief investigation, probably no more than an hour, the police department was able to debunk the claims as unfounded and simply just not credible. In a nutshell, everybody had heard something, and when you asked that student where did they hear it from, they said a friend. And then we spoke to that friend, and where did you hear it from? And then a friend, and eventually it worked itself into pretty much a circle of about 10 or 12 students, and they all heard from each other, but there was really no credible threat. Now, any student who was affected has been offered counseling services in our district, and if they ever needed to seek counseling services outside our district, we could certainly steer them in the right place. The West Milford Police Department posted on their Facebook page yesterday a statement which basically what I just told you here. So there was no arrest, there was no weapon, there was nothing. There's probably 5, perhaps as many as 25 rumors about what happened, but I was there, the police department was there. It's on their website or their Facebook page if you want additional clarity. So I just wanted to start with that and then move into a more of a positive direction. Earlier this year, we have a student at our high school, Audrey Leibig, who took the ACT and scored a perfect and earned a perfect score. I'm reading a letter here that Mr. Gorski sent her, and then I'm going to invite her up to receive a certificate from me and perhaps take a couple of photos. Dear Audrey, I was so excited to learn of your outstanding academic feat. Scoring perfectly on the ACT puts you in tremendously exclusive company amongst all U.S. high school students. Fewer than 3,000 students out of the 2 million that took the test scored perfectly. I am prouder still of the example you set for your fellow students and the broader community. You lead in an unassuming way, setting the bar for your fellow Highlanders. Your work in our classrooms and on our performance stages is unparalleled, and I appreciate your dedication to excellence in everything you do. I know that you have a bright future ahead, and I join you and your family in celebrating this accomplishment. I look forward to seeing you take your next step in life, and thank you for being a young woman of character who embodies what it means to be a Highlander. With every best wish, Paul Gorski, West Milford High School Principal. Right here, the Township of West Milford Board of Education, Audrey Liebig, has attained recognition for perfect ACT score and is hereby awarded this certificate of honor. Next up, about 2 weeks ago, our high school had our on-site decision day 2017. This is a day where our high school seniors get to apply in our lower media center at the library, and they receive notification during the interview whether or not they're accepted into the university that they're interviewing for. There's a full list of universities in our guidance department of schools that were there. Just a brief sampling of some data from that very successful day. The total number of students participating increased by 130% from the initial year. The percent of students participating from the start of this program increased from 22% to now it's 68%. So greater than 2 out of every 3 high school seniors participated in the on-site decision day. The total acceptances from the first year of this program to now has increased by 87%. And on this past on-site decision day, about $411,000 in scholarships were offered. So in other words, we didn't just have students who were accepted, they were also offered scholarships on that same very day, over $411,000 for our children. So it was a wonderful day, and we look forward to next year as well.
Alex, I just want to, real quick, because I don't know if Audrey's going to leave, but when you do the math, 0.0015% of the students who scored perfect out of that 2 million, that really is a tremendous feat. And I want to personally say congratulations. And my daughter said she's going to try now. So she might just do it. Well, thank you.
And lastly, monthly progress towards district, school, and department goals. We are in the final stages of our initial budget preparations. We've been meeting with principals and supervisors, central office staff, to begin planning for next year. We're trying, what we're doing, at the start of this year, we explained that we were going to look at the master schedule at the high school for 2018-19 to potentially make changes at the high school level in the fall. After looking through our initial budget data, it looks as though we'll be revisiting the master schedule at all 3 levels, at the high school, at Macapin, at the K-6 elementary schools. We are looking at some fairly significant personnel cuts at all 3 levels, elementary, middle, high school, personnel cuts that may necessitate an additional look at our master schedule. So, in other words, the schedule that we have now at the elementary, middle, and high school levels, it's going to be difficult to run that same schedule in September with consideration of the cuts that we're going to have to make for the 2018-19 budget. So those cuts will be made at the end of the school year, and they'll take effect July 1, or practically speaking, September 1. So we are going to have to take a hard look at our master schedule moving forward, because I said we're looking at some fairly significant personnel cuts across the board. Okay. With that, we have our student representative report. Ms. McIntyre is unable to attend, so we have Sarah Chmielewski here to help out.
December is always a busy month for the high school. December 5th, the faculty partnered with Highlands Family Success Center and CrossFit to make holiday cards, pack backpacks, and presents for children in the community. December 7th opened our new, sorry, thanks. December 7th opened our new auditorium to the Highlander Choir, who gave an amazing winter concert. The same school day was on-site decision day, where many people were accepted into college. Upcoming events include the winter band concert on the 21st, our door decorating contest on the 22nd, and then winter break. Winter sports have just begun, and their seasons are looking bright. Thanks. Thank you.
Can I just say something?
Thanks.
This Saturday, the theater department, they're going to be doing Little Mermaid in March, did a Christmas event for children, and Audrey was involved with that and had the attention of all these little kids. It was the most remarkable, magical thing, and I just wanted to compliment you and add that to your report, if that's okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it. All right, Mr. Novak, education report, please.
Thank you. I just want to wish everyone happy holidays as well. Since our last meeting, we had a couple of major events in terms of some of the parent communication and involvement that we embrace in the district. One of them being American Education Week, where we open our doors to parent visitation, and we had a tremendous turnout in each of our elementary schools. That following week, we had our parent-teacher conferences, where we were able to invite our parents in and be able to talk about student progress and the things that we're working on in the classrooms. During that time, while we had staff involvement with our parents coming in, we took our opportunity to get as much interaction with our climate and culture survey as we could. So we have we cut the survey off this past Friday on December 15th. So we're in the process of collecting the data. We have 2,831 responses, which is tremendous. We have 397 parent responses, which in a district this size might sound low, but it's actually about 100 higher than we had last year, which is a great sign. One of the other pieces that really stood out is the area for student write-in. We had, in the previous surveys, it was very limited and brief. Now it seemed to be more elaborative. We did a good job last year with taking the comments that students and parents wrote into last year's survey and acted on them. And I don't know if that had been something that was noticed, but people took a little bit extra time to type into that box and give us some information. So we have our administrative council meeting tomorrow, where we're going to be distributing our survey breakdowns by school. And it is my intention at the January Director of Ed report to present the comparison between last year's survey and this year's survey, because that was one of our goals, is to show growth. And just in a brief review, since we've had 2 days to take a look at it, we have seen improvement, but we have some more comments to sift through, which are great. And I said last year we were able to afford some different trainings to some staff members who hadn't been trained in certain strategies in the past. And I believe that once we glean the data from this, we'll be able to really have a nice impact. So the principals and the administration will be armed with this tomorrow. And we're hoping for the new year we can act on the data we've received and be able to put some great things into place. So like I said, at the January meeting, I'll present the comparison between the two sets of data. And that's it for my report tonight.
Thanks, Dan. Barbara, special reports and correspondence, please.
Yes, we have Ryan Cleary and Tom Ferrioli from our audit firm to provide us with the latest audit from June 30th, 2017.
Thank you. I got a loud voice, but I'll put the microphone here anyway. Chuck couldn't make it tonight. He's at his son's graduation, his oldest son. He was a graduate of West Milford School District. His son is he's graduating as a nuclear chemistry, getting his PhD in nuclear chemistry. So he's attending his graduation tonight, so he couldn't make it, but another job well done by West Milford. In the packets, you have two booklets. One is the CAFRA, which is the Comprehensive Annual Financial Report. The other one is the Management Report, which is where the comments or recommendations are. What I'll do, normally Chuck throws me under the bus. He usually says, Tom is the bad cop. So Chuck plays good cop, I'm always the bad cop. So tonight I'm the good cop, Brian's the bad cop tonight. Not really, I don't throw him under the bus. I know how that feels. So with that, I'd like to go over, as you can see, the document is very large, the CAFRA report. But what I'll do is I'm just going to go over some highlights of the CAFRA. So if you want to follow on page 27 of the big CAFRA book.
Sorry, guys. We're just figuring out that we don't have the packet.
I have it at home, I didn't make it at home.
Okay, page 27. I'll talk to it and I'll tell you what it's about. What this is the business enterprise funds. It's the food service and the school-age childcare. They basically are supposed to operate almost like a business where, like a deli, where the money comes in, pays for the expenditures. At the end of the year, there was $63,000 in food service, which is the investment in capital, which is your fixed assets minus depreciation. You really had no retained earnings in the food service, and we haven't in a while. And I'll talk to you about that in a minute. The school-age child care fund balance, the unreserved retained earnings, were $58,000. If you go on to page 28, this is basically your income statement for those two different enterprise funds. The food service, again, had an ending balance of $65,000, but it was really zero because that was just for the investments that you have, which is your equipment minus depreciation. If you look on the left-hand side, about 2 rows up, you could see that we transferred in $156,000 to get that to be zero. That comes out of the budget every year, not that a dollar amount, it could fluctuate, but I just want to make you aware that $156,000 had to go in from the general fund budget to make this solvent. And the reason being is that there are still employees that are receiving, older employees that are still receiving health benefits from the days when West Milford had their own food service. And eventually, once they start retiring, we don't have to pay for their health benefits and everything else. That number should hopefully come back up, and we won't have to be funding the food service anymore. The school-age child care, the only thing I want to make you aware of, it did have an $18,000 loss, but they still ended with $97,000, and of which $58,000 is unrestricted. So just to make you aware, no red flags to come up, but just, we'll look at this every year to make sure that there's not a continual loss. And if there is, you need to react. You need to do something. Okay, that's all I have. Oh, yes, sir.
Do you know what the loss was in our food service last year?
Unfortunately, these audit reports are only 1 year.
Okay.
You would have to go back to 2016.
Yeah, audit.
And look at it. Do you remember?
That's what I don't remember the exact number, but I thought it was just a little bit lower than this one. Yeah. Yeah, okay.
But if you go to the same schedule last year for 16's audit, you could see what it was. You could see that transfer rate.
I will. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, oh, I'm sorry.
Actually, you were mentioning that you saw a similar result last year. How far back were you looking when you were going over this income statement?
I only think I think Ryan, I think you only saw it because we were doing, when we do the audit report, when we use last year's audit report, we use this year's information from what Barbara gave us, and we also keep the audit report open up from the previous year, so that's.
I recall it from, working on it this year.
I believe we've had a similar result for several years.
It's been in the.
I think so.
Okay, thank you.
I think so, but it was a lot, it was a lot worse, and Barbara can back me up on this, when we did have it in-house.
I think it's important that board members realize that we have close to $500,000 in expenditure. So the balance of that expenditure line between salaries and benefits and FICA is being funded by the profits of the food service. So we're really only making up for the difference between the profit that the food service is providing and the actual expenditures that we still have having our own employees.
And I remember when the last year that we ran it as West Milford running the food program, it was like 125,000, 126,000. And that actually spiked the following year when we went to Pontonian. It almost doubled to 250, and then it started to slowly come down. So.
Yeah, once, like I said, once those employees, once they start retiring, you'll see, because we deal with a Pontonian a lot, and for the most part, they were always showing a profit, at least break even. So, yeah. Okay. Okay, on now I'll go into the general fund, which is your major fund, page 76. Page 76 is Exhibit C1, which is your budget as the board adopted this budget. So there's 5 columns. The first is your original budget. The second is your budget transfers. The second is the modified budget, and the actual column. I only have the summary on page 76, but you can go back. It's 5 pages long. So you can look at the revenues versus how they came in and how you budgeted them, and all your expenditures, how you budgeted them versus how they were expended, and whether or not there was a favorable, or how much your favorable variance was at the end. The reason why I talk about Exhibit C1 is this is the fund balance, and these are the numbers that we use going into next year's budget. Because there's 3 different fund balances in this audit report. One is on the GAAP basis, but this is under the budgetary basis, and that's the one we use when we do projections and when we do the next year's budgets. And that what Barbara uses. So on the bottom of page 76, you see there's a recapitulation. And what that means is that's a recapitulation of your fund balance. Your fund balance is made up of various components. And I don't make this stuff up. It's given to us by the state. So the total fund balance of West Milford was $8.8 million, of which $1.1 million was capital reserve. This is money you put aside for major projects so that you don't have the bond. It's cash that you have on hand, that you could do bigger projects, less than you put in the budget, but a little less than what you bond for. We have a maintenance reserve of $500,000. This year, meaning the audit year, 16-17, we generated excess surplus of $2,048,000. From previous years, which the state, I'm not going to say forces you, but when you have excess surplus, you have to put it towards the upcoming years. So this excess surplus that we generated from 16-17 goes towards your 18-19 budget, and this is the minimum amount. The minimum amount you have to use to balance your budget. It's almost like forcing you to use fund balance. So this is over and above the 2% number. The previous year, which would have been 16, I can always mess this up, 15, 16, you generated $2.9 million, of which that's being used in the budget we're in right now, the 17-18 year budget.
Tom, I'm sorry, here.
I'm sorry,
Could you just explain that in a little more detail?
the excess surplus?
The difference between 2.9 and 2.0.
Okay, let me just go on to the last two things and I'll come back to that.
Thank you.
Okay? So you had year-end encumbrances of $732,000. Those are purchase orders as of June 30th that haven't been liquidated. So basically what we do is we put that money aside knowing that those bills are going to be paid in July and August of the new year, but they go back to the old school budget. They go back to the 16-17 budget, so that's money put aside. And then what you're left with is your 2% number, your unrestricted fund balance of $1.4 million. Now, as Alex mentioned, I wanted to mention to you, we used $2.9 million, $2,940,000 to balance the budget we're in right now from previous year's excess surplus. Okay, that's the 17-18 budget. What we generated this year was the $2,048,000, which has to be used for your 18-19 budget. So you see there's a difference of $892,000 of money that you, or excess surplus that you don't have going into that 18-19 year. So you basically have a hole you have to fill. Now, it could come from it could come from results of operations, if you're lucky, from this year's audit that you were in right now. So let's say hypothetically you have more money come in from tuition or something that you budget, that flows into your fund balance. If you don't spend all your appropriations, that flows into. But we don't know what that number is now until we get there. But all I'm telling you right now is you've got an $892,000 hole that has to be filled. Now, whether it comes from unrestricted fund balance or you dip into your cap that you haven't used over all the years, which is around $3 million. The cap is basically going up to the maximum amount you can go into the taxpayers for. And if you don't use that whole amount, it gets banked. So you do have a bank. It's not like you're in serious trouble, but you have to use that bank to fill up that $892,000. But unfortunately, when you use the bank, the tax rate goes up. Because it's not banked cash. It's just amount of money that the state allows you to utilize that you haven't utilized over all the years. So there's a few options going into the 18-19 budget.
So just for clarity, the way you described it, so going into the next year, if all things considered stay flat to this year, no increase in salaries, no increase in programs, benefits, we go in 800 plus under, which alludes to the cuts that you were saying or things before. So that's where it's hurting us.
Yes. Yeah.
Knowing things will go up, salaries will go up, benefits will go up.
Right. Yeah. Excess surplus is not a bad thing. I mean, I don't like the word surplus. Whenever I go to municipalities, I say it's really fund balance. Surplus to me is like gluttony. It shouldn't. I don't know who worded it that way. It really should be excess fund balance. But you always try. It's not a bad thing. I'd rather be on that side of the fence, having that excess fund balance, than not having it. Unfortunately, we just didn't generate what we did in the past and utilized in the budget we're in right now.
But don't we also have a capital project in the auditorium that was close to that number that we're not going to do this year? So doesn't that kind of balance out a bit?
That was in the previous year.
That was in previous
That
year's
was in the
budget.
previous year?
Yeah, that was in the previous year's budget.
Okay.
But last year, we put, what was it, 250 into capital reserve, or was that maintenance reserve?
It was capital.
Capital
Capital.
reserve, capital. And then we had about $500,000 in expenditures between Upper Greenwood Lake School, water issues, and then transportation remediation. So those are expenditures that we weren't expecting. So we really would have had another almost 750,000 on top of that 2,048. So I look at it as we didn't create this hole but it was kind of engineered in a sense by us spending that money that we were not anticipating spending. You know?
Yeah. There's always going to be some unanticipated expenditures in a district this size. It's not really, I don't think it's fair to say if we didn't spend that money, we'd have more. So, Tom, you used to mention our capital reserve is $1 million with, or $1.1
$1,189,000.
So with a district with 8 buildings, how does that, you're in other districts as well, picture another district you're in with 8 buildings, what kind of capital reserves are you seeing in other communities?
I just did Dover, and they have a lot. They have like 5 million in theirs.
How many buildings do they have?
I think they have a little less. They got I know they got the middle schools right on 46 in Dover. I know they got the high school. I don't know, I think what do they have elementary wise? Maybe 6. Maybe 6. So, I mean, they're a little smaller, and they're a little more compact too.
Right.
A little more compact too.
We don't have insurance for that, by the way.
Yeah, that's all right. Chuck will pay for it. It's called collateral damage. So that's the major fund.
Now, there's still excess surplus, says in addition to the regular surplus, right? There's also
The excess surplus is the $2,048,000.
Right.
And the
But
regular,
regular surplus?
the regular unrestricted, the 2% number that gets calculated is $1,434,000.
Now, put together the 2 million excess surplus and the 1.4 surplus.
It's $2,048,000.
Yeah.
And
2
the
million
1.4.
excess, and 1.4 regular surplus is, you know, whatever,
3.5 million.
Million.
Yep.
That is money we collected, largely in taxes, in excess of what we spent.
Yes.
And
It's
so
accumulated,
calling that
it's
a
accumulated
whole-
over the years, yes.
And the state of New Jersey, in fact, requires us not to do that. We got to spend that money the next year. If we had a balance, we got to spend it. There's state law says when you collect more from the taxpayers than you needed, which is what we've got to the tune of 3.5 million.
2.4. The 2.4 is
Between the surplus and the excess surplus.
Right, right.
3.5 million more that we collected than what we needed, and state law says now we have to spend that. So I'm just really not happy with characterizing that as a whole. That isn't a whole, that's $3.5 million of money we collected from the taxpayers that we didn't need. Now, you can carry that money forward by spending on capital projects. There are a number of ways to carry it forward. But the last thing in the world it is a hole. It's extra money, excess, and surplus, more than we needed. So I understand we want to make sure we've got balances. We want to make sure we've got a fund balance every single month so that we can meet payroll and so on and so forth. But I just have a real problem with calling that a hole when we took $3.5 million more from taxpayers than we spent. It's not a hole.
Well, we start the budget year, I think Nicole mentioned, if everything stays the same, or maybe Tom mentioned it, we'll have $900,000 less to pay for it. The problem is not everything stays the
So then we would
same.
only collect 2.5 million more from taxpayers than we need next year.
Well, the problem is nothing stays the same year to
If the total
year.
surplus is 3.5 million, and we're saying that's gone down 900,000,
No, it's 2 million, just over 2 million.
the excess surplus is 2.4.
Correct. That's what you plug into your budget.
The regular surplus is
1.4.
1.4.
I'm sorry, the regular surplus is 1.4, the excess surplus is
2,048,000.
2 and change.
2.1, 2 and change. The total surplus is 3.5 million, and what we're saying is, that's going to go down. I'm sorry, that
It is.
went
It has
down
gone
from
down.
the
It did go
previous
down.
year.
And it's still trending down.
But it's still 3.5 million more that we collected from taxpayers than we needed to spend. And the state of New Jersey, in fact, has a law that says we've got to include that money back in the budget, at least the excess.
It helps us generate some tax relief, but just to Tom's point about, if everything stays the same year over year, our health benefits is probably 10 million, 12 million.
Oh, yeah.
If that goes
Yeah,
up
gross.
10%, that's $1.2 million in additional costs. Our salaries are about
40 million.
40 million. If that goes up 2.5%, that's $1 million. So you're looking at, you might have $2 million of extra costs and $900,000 less to pay it with. So you're looking at potentially 2.9 million that you're off. See, everything goes up.
We got 3.5 million.
Well, we have to keep some reserve for if an
The
emergency,
regular surplus.
if an emergency
1.4.
happens
But the
tomorrow.
other thing, of course, we're not there yet, but the other thing to seriously look at, we, in the past, we kept building up a surplus, an
Correct.
excess surplus.
And now it's diminishing,
Now we spent it down a little bit,
a lot of it.
but the reality is our enrollment is declining.
Correct.
Now, every year, we've got some inflationary costs and so on and so forth, but, if enrollment is going down, costs should go down, although you're gonna have some adjustment for inflation, but they should be going down. And instead, we completely forget the fact that we have fewer students to pick up on a bus, fewer classrooms, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and we assume the thing just needs to keep going like that forever. And in fact, we're being alarmist about, having done what the state told us to do by law to spend some of the excess surplus, and we're saying, oh my gosh, we got this huge hole. We don't have a hole.
We do.
We have extra money.
We most certainly do.
A lot of
We'll
the.
certainly have this discussion later, but
A lot of the surplus over the last few years was generated by the employee benefit contribution.
Yeah.
Because we had no way of knowing how much it was going to end up being. And that was a contributing factor to the excess surplus that we experienced. But now we're basically budgeting the employee benefit contribution pretty close to what we believe we're going to have. I think that, we don't have any control over our leaves of absence and people that are paying for their benefits in full. So that gives us a little bit of a float. But for the most part, we no longer are accumulating large dollars with the employee benefit contribution that we were able to turn into capital projects that we were able to do in the schools.
obviously, when we get to the budget, we'll have to look at, all of this kind of stuff, and it all factors in, but
I don't mean to be alarmist. It's not I'm fiscally
I want to
prudent.
correct the impression that the sky is falling and the school district is about to fall apart.
No, absolutely
That's
not.
not it.
$3.5 million.
And I don't, if I send you that
more
message,
collections than
I
we
apologize. I certainly don't want to be alarmist. We're still a good-sized district. There are districts
And we're financially
significantly,
healthy.
there are
We
districts
got fund
significantly
balances.
smaller than us, so we can probably absorb, 24 cuts much better than a small district could. So, and I don't mean to be alarmist about it, but we'll get there and we'll do our job. We'll make sure our children are educated and that we have 2 students next year with a perfect ACT score. So we're going to keep moving the envelope. But the harsh realities are there, and we'll have additional discussions in committees, moving forward.
Steve, just this 1.434 million that Mr. Ferry was referring to, we have to generate that every year. That 2% we generate when it's 74,000, we generate that 2% of 74 million, excuse me. If it goes to 75, we generate 2% of 75 million. We're required to by law to do that, just for emergency things that might come up that we might not, but we're generating on top of that 1.4 million, an additional $2,040,000. That is the crux of the surplus, because even though that 1.4 is surplus, that's something we have to generate every year. So
on the other hand, that's a New Jersey law.
Yep.
And I agree with the laws to keep school boards from doing stupid things and making sure that we've got enough money to pay the bills, that, we didn't do something in our budget and then find out about it in August when we can't pay an employee or something like that. So it's a good law. It's to keep, school boards here and there. Lord knows, we can do all kinds of stupid things and shouldn't. And that makes sure that we don't, that we've always got some cushion there to move forward with. But it's still excess money.
Yep.
It's a surplus. It's more money that we collected from taxpayers than we needed to spend.
And our surplus, over the years, we've been using to do projects in the district, the auditorium, the greenhouses, things of that nature. We don't have a lot of projects this year. It's really the greenhouse projects. So hopefully that 2.9 that we put into this year's budget will since we didn't have all the expenditures of projects and things that we normally have been doing for the past 5-6 years, hopefully we can see a move in the other direction, which I think we will. I think we're at 2.9, we went down to 2. I think we're going to go back up as long as we watch the dollars. And that's
just to
something
be,
you guys have to do.
yeah, I check that number every morning, and we're trending about $1 million off of where we were this time last year. So that 2.04, most likely 1 year from today will be $1 million, maybe 800,000. So it's trending downward, because it carries a year over from the budget. So what we're feeling right now is from the 0% tax levy increase 2 years ago. We're going to feel next year this time is the 0% tax levy increase from last year. That was a decision we made, and now we just have to live within our means and live within our budget for the next couple of school years.
Good idea.
I think it's important that, Steve pointed out what he pointed out. There's a public perception that there are board members that are willing to spend on students, and there's board members that aren't. And I'm here to say I think that all the board members spend on the students. If they want to cut, they're going to cut from other areas. They're not going to cut from academics and the necessary activities to well-round the students and things like that. And I want to correct that public perception that some people told me about. We have enough money in our budget to handle what our job is, to teach the students what they need to learn. And yes, there's other projects that we want to do. We have to be creative and fiscally responsible, and we can do them.
For the guise of letting the meeting go a little quicker, I would ask everybody at this point to hold any questions until Mr. Berry's done, so that we don't get off on a tangent and we're here late.
Yeah, it's great, it's great discussion. I mean, that's what the audit, I like doing it, bringing out the numbers, and that's my job, to explain the numbers, because it gets very confusing, this document.
So let's let Mr. Ferry finish, and any questions, we'll do that.
Well, that was the crux, as you can tell, that's the crux of your whole district, that the C1 schedule and your fund balance and the student activity. Everything else is either trust related, which you can't control, or the federal and state grants the federal and state grant special revenue fund. That's the fund where you get your Title I's, your IDEAs. You really can't do much with that. The state says, the federal government says, here's your money, spend it this way, or we don't like you anymore, or you get a nasty gram. So that was the crux of the budget. And your audit report and your CAFRA. So what I'll do is I'll go over the management report and then the comments and recommendations section. That's the smaller report. And the first comment we have is on page 7. Now let me talk about the comments and recommendations. Most of my comments, 99% of the comments that I do have in school districts are there's three things. It's either food service related, student activity related, or ASSA related, application for state school aid, which is a pet peeve of mine, the ASSA, but I'll talk about that in a minute. So on page 7 is the first comment, and it is the food service. So what we do is every year the parents come home with, or the students come home with a free reduced application, and if you fall within a certain income level and a number of people in your household, you either get a free reduced lunch. At the counters, as the kids go through, it's counted, and at the end of the day, it's counted, it's put on a report. At the end of the month, it's added all up. We send it to the state, and they give us a certain dollar amount for each category. So I become a state auditor and a federal auditor, making sure that that system's working and that we don't overclaim or underclaim. So while we were doing that process, we found that there was a deviation, not substantial, and you're gonna laugh. I mean, there's 100, I think there's the one, it was like 186 to one category, 186,000 kids went through. We tested 99,000, something like that, and we found like 68 deviations. So sometimes it's a 68 plus, a 68 minus. It comes down to $2.02 with all the deviations. But unfortunately, it's not the dollar amount, it's the system. So there's a system, sometimes there's a breakdown in the system, and we need to find out why. So as we're going through, we're trying to find out why. We try and fix it before we go into the next year. So $2.12. That's that comment. Do you have anything else on it? On page 8 is comment number 2, student activity related. In a few instances, student activity purchases were missing supporting documentation / invoices. So every time the student activities, no matter what school, middle school, high school, elementary schools, every time there's an expenditure, we need some kind of backing documentation to back up the expenditure. In some instances, we do a test sample of every school. We found some instances that there was no backing invoices for some of the dollar amounts. Now, it's not large, but still, you've got to have a process, and that's that. Finding number 3. The high school student activities account and the high school athletic account have unclear checks. All right, so as we're going through, we're looking at the bank recs, and we noticed that there were some old outstanding checks, and we just make the recommendation, and I think we've done them already. We just to clear out, cancel those outstanding checks, bring the account more current. It's just more of a house cleaning chore than anything. Comment number 4, in a few instances, student activity purchases were found to be for purchases other than student activities. So student activity monies, it's collected, we put it towards the students, and we found that there were a couple instances where they were spent besides being on the students. Of course, as we're going through, Barbara's been made aware, and we educated whoever the problem was. On page 9, this is ASSA related, application for state school aid. So back in the day, a couple of years, about maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, we have to do a student count. as of October 15th or close to whatever that date is, of every student, in every category those students are in. It was supposed to be used for state aid, to change the state aid formula. The number of students you have, the number of at-risk students you have, the number of, all the different categories. You had to do it, you had to do all this work, put it all together, and auditor has to audit those numbers. So we have to make sure that all the numbers on the ASSA application that's sent down to the state are okay. We found instances where there were, number 5 were actually student transportation. The SSA includes transportation. So we found that 5 students classified as special education transported on the DRTRS were listed as regular students. So it's just a classification error. On page 9 again, this one happens to be on the application for private school aid transportation. There's these forms called B6Ts that have to be signed, and we found they were incomplete, and all forms tested were noted as approved, were not approved by the supervisor of transportation. So the forms that, we need to test, there's signature pages, and they were not all signed, I think, none of them? None of them were signed. So we just say that you please sign all those documents. And that is all I have. Any questions on the comments?
Just on finding 04, you say in a few instances, student activity purchases were found to be for purposes other than student activities. Do you know what they were?
So when we go through, we'll look at a voucher and we attach the invoice or receipt. It seemed like a lot of the expenditures were for more like office supplies, administrative costs, maybe like the funds were being used as the office. I don't want to say that they were being used as pay cash, but it was more like postage, office supplies.
Yeah,
there
it's on there.
was, yeah. Just the one.
No, there were 2. Yeah, the ones we found was for faculty yoga and teacher appreciation purchase.
They just didn't fall under an expenditure for student benefit.
I have a question. Who's responsible for that?
Building principal.
Student activity fees are collected at the high school only, right?
Yeah.
That money comes into the budget, though.
Yeah.
It's a different account.
Yeah.
Student fees are different. Any other questions?
No, I'm good. Anybody will?
In the CAFR, page 16, I just would like clarification. The expenses of instruction and pupil transportation, does that include benefits?
What page?
16, statement of net position,
Page 16?
in the CAFR, yes.
Is that the,
Oh, the big one.
oops, sorry, wrong way, right?
What section is that in, Will?
Function program expenses.
I think that's MD&A. I think it's the MD&A.
It's in the
Did you say 16?
Yes.
16.
The CAFR, the larger one.
page 16.
Right, get there. 14, 15, 16.
No, employee benefits are not broken down into the individual line items. Is that what you were asking? If it included benefits?
In the statement of net position,
Yeah, it's not broken down by the employee benefits is listed under, not allocated
Which line were you
that
talking
way.
about? I'm sorry.
Tom,
No, we've got it.
We got it on there.
you got it on there?
Yeah, what dollar amount?
The dollar amounts are for 2017 for instruction, $54,900,000.
Do they allocate a percentage of benefits by each area? Okay, yeah, in that particular, so it's a different
That
position.
also includes the GASB 68 pension expense, which is,
Yeah, so it is broken down by.
That is on the accrual basis, which doesn't technically refer back to Exhibit C1, because we have to add in accrual expenses, which is the, how much was the TPF expense? It was a large dollar amount.
Okay. Page 19, please, same book. In the schedule of the general fund, special fund, capital projects fund, the undistributed expenditures, can you define that for me?
This schedule is kind of hard to look at. I'm more used to looking at C1. The undistributed expenditures are everything else except for student, for
instruction, so support services. and-
support service. It could be janitorial, it could be
Transportation,
very
administration.
encompassing of a lot of-
administration, insurance, TPAF, PERS, Social Security.
Nursing
It's like
services.
it's like a
Media
huge.
center.
That's, I mean, that's,
So I'll
No, no,
refer,
no. That's, I mean, that's awfully broad. That's what the state of New Jersey chart of accounts covers. They're undistributed expenses.
very, very
Great
broad.
state.
So there's
It's a broad
undistributed
category of your total
administrative
budget,
services.
let's say. So you have instruction, you have undistributed expenditures.
If you go to the C1 report, it's made up of like 3 or 4 different pages. It's sum of all.
Yeah, it could be like 3 pages long.
Thank you for the segue, in the C1 report, am I able to request any one of these items and see what accounts fall into them? Say if I requested the state, under state sources for revenue, the equalization aid, if I requested the accounts that fall under that, would
That's a
you-
revenue, equalization aid,
Mhm.
that's a revenue account.
Right, so, I mean, we have.
That comes from the state of New
15-digit
Jersey
number.
as a bulk number.
Okay, so more specifically then, say for expenditures of salaries for kindergarten teachers,
Mhm.
I would be able to request from perhaps you or anybody else from
It's in
the
the
budget.
administration.
It's in the budget.
The budget book.
From the
Okay.
budget.
It's in the budget book.
So when Barbara puts together when the board puts together the budget, you have every teacher within that category, and she has to make sure that they fall within your steps.
It's not quite listed like this, where it's encompassing in one area. You have,
Yes, it
you
is.
have it broken down by school,
No,
yes, we have it broken down by school.
not salaries, no.
Well, there are other items that I'm speaking about, not, I was just pulling that item just as a conversation piece, but there's other things in here that aren't listed all in one sum. But that was just a basic question. I have township questions. When we bonded and we went off of a credit rating, that was the township's credit rating, correct?
No. We get
That's
our own.
how we get our
We get our
own?
own.
How often does that get updated?
The state, and I'm not bond counsel, so, but I do get involved a little bit. I think you get an automatic rating. Isn't that, Barbara, is that?
I know Moody's does it on an annual basis, they'll take a look at your position.
But you
Last,
pretty much get an automatic rating because the levy and the state aid, I mean, that's the bulk of your revenue. So there's really nothing, unless the town goes under, your credit rating is kind of higher than like a regular municipality if they have a low fund balance or something like that. But the answer is they do look at it pretty much every year, like as Barbara said, and they do look at your fund balance to make sure you do keep it at the 2%. and you don't dip into it, and you have, you're generating excess surplus, and those kind of things. Those are all positive things they look at.
Okay, so that's something we do have on hand, thank you. How does funding occur between the municipality and the board in terms of collecting tax revenue? How does it get dispersed to us? When does it get dispersed to us?
We have a schedule. We develop a schedule, and then they send it on a monthly basis. Unless they're having a problem with their revenues, and then they ask us to hold off for a few weeks, which is usually right before a tax period when they're getting. But
We always get 100%, correct?
they have to, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, if there's a tax appeal, we still get what we're owed, but if there's a tax appeal, Will, the town has to take it out of what they would have gotten. They have to give us our full funding. Any tax appeals, they get hurt, not us.
Whatever's certified for taxes.
Okay, good. And last question regarding the township, my last question, and then I'll shut up. Does your firm, actually I have two more questions, I lied. Does your firm have a tax collection rate for the township? Are they at 80% collection?
Is it in the, we actually, in the back of the audit, there's a statistical section, and it might be in there.
The one that goes through 10 years?
Yeah. Yes. There's a lot of statistical information on the
Okay.
town. It might be in there, I don't remember if we show it every
I
year.
don't know if it has a percentage per se.
Yeah, you could always go under the town and look under, they have their audits under the financial. If you look under departments, financial, they keep audit reports in there, budgets, and it's part of their audit report.
Great, thank you.
We give like 5 years. There's usually about 5 years of tax collection information on that.
Okay, great. And the final question is, what other services does your firm offer school districts?
What other
Services?
do we offer?
Yes.
For the most part, it's only auditing, because you have to remember that auditors can't encroach into management, because there's a line drawn in the sand where if you cross over, now you become management and you're not independent anymore. So the AICPA, since Enron, WorldCom, all those guys really messed us up big time, we're under a microscope. So they watch what we do and make sure and tell us what the guidelines are, so we don't encroach onto those things. I mean, for the most part, we can look at the audit because we're familiar with the audit, and we could say, now's the time to bond because your debt service will be dropping off and your principal and payments will drop $300,000. So if you want to bond, now's the time to do it in this year, so maybe start. But we also can't encroach on that kind of thing. You have financial advisors for that and bond counsel for that. So we're kind of very limited on the services we can do over and above the auditing.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions?
No, money's worth.
Okay,
We're all good?
we're good?
Okay.
All right, well,
Thank you,
thank
sir.
you so much. I know, right? Tell Chucky doesn't have to come back anymore. Have a great holiday, everyone.
Thank you, too. Do we, and any of Mr. Ferry's findings, do we need to update the procedure manual on anything?
That's in the process of being updated as we speak.
Okay.
It's just that we don't have a lot of time to work on it.
Yeah, no. I was looking at it earlier, and I did notice that we still have listed in the book bid specs at 36,000. I think we're up to 40.
40.
Yeah, so that'll have to be updated as well.
That was last year.
Yeah, yeah.
It changes every year.
Every, yeah. Minutes?
I move to approve the minutes of the November 14th workshop regular meeting and November 14th executive session.
Second.
Any discussion? None? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Joe, legal report.
I don't have much tonight, but what I do have will be discussed in executive session.
Okay. President's report. Since it'll be my last, I'll try not to be too long-winded. I guess the first thing that I want to say is I want to thank Alex for coming to the district. I want to also thank him for allowing me next year to hand my daughter her diploma. I appreciate that. That'll mean a lot to her. Dan, I want to thank you for all the work you've done in the past couple of years. You're doing an outstanding job, and I know I do, and I'm sure the rest of the board appreciates that. Liz, you're going places. You're doing a phenomenal job. I appreciate everything you've done the past couple of years and keeping us up to date on things. It's a breath of fresh air. I only see one other building principal here, so Stephanie, doing a great job. Keep up the good work. Thanks for all you do. We've got, I think, quite a few things accomplished over the last couple of years. One, I think we finally got our goal setting on the right track, and I have already emailed Alex the information, so it'll be in your meeting schedule for next year. But May 8th at 6:30 is your next goal setting with Kathy Hellewa. It's a Tuesday, so it falls under our Tuesday meeting schedule. I think it's important that the district do this in early on, so it allows Alex time to come up with a plan before the start of school in September, and I think it's been working very well. Our senior walk, I pushed that with Anthony Rashika. He didn't want to do it, and I brought it up again to Dan and Alex, and they were able to put it together, and as Alex said, it'll be a new tradition here in the district. I think it's a good way for the kids to look back, and I see Sue Nebeker smiling, and I hope that's from what she saw last year. But it's a good thing to let the kids look back at where they came from, and they had some kickball games and things like that, so I think it's all good. We reviewed our policy manual. We got that up to date. We got some roof projects done at Macapin in the high school and the auditorium. We got the fireworks going on again over by the high school football field, so I'm glad that it's a good spot for it, you know. We initiated an LGEA. For anybody who doesn't know, that's a local government energy audit. We should be getting our site visit soon, according to, I guess, Barbara, then hopefully next month.
I'm still waiting for them to give me a date.
Yes, but hopefully, like I said, hopefully within the next month, and we can utilize some of the savings that we can get there to do some much-needed projects instead of asking for the taxpayers to do it. We've kept the budget down the past 3 years just to a 1%, and I thank Steve for a lot of the hard work he's done, and I know Will and everybody else who's been involved with that. we came on board, I guess, we had a ranking according to the New Jersey Monthly Magazine of 494. With a lot of hard work, we jumped to 301. That's a substantial jump in our rankings. And, you know, the criteria didn't change, but what we did changed, and that's what moved us forward. So I hope that trend can continue. It's good for the taxpayers. As our rankings go up, people are going to want to move in, and you're going to be able to get a better dollar for your home, and it's all good. Things that need to be done. I'm gonna say this. There's still a lot of work, I think, that needs to be done. Part of our goals were looking for economic efficiencies. You know, we're going to look at transportation. I believe that, and it's just my belief at this point. I don't have any solid numbers or anything to look at. That'll be your guys' responsibility. But I think that's. I think it's a worthwhile endeavor just to look at. Some people might not like this, but we had a study done in 2010 by Ross Haber Associates. For the members of the board, which is everybody except for Greg, should request a copy. I think you did, Will, if I'm not mistaken. They had advised the district back in the beginning of 2011 to revisit redistricting and the possibility of closing an elementary school. We were told then that our population would be about 3,500. We're a little late from 2015. We're down to 3,300, and our population, looking at our current enrollment numbers, will continue to go down for the next 4 or 5 years. I think it's a discussion that its time has come, especially when Alex talks about losing staff. We don't like to lose staff, but I think if we can consolidate some of our operations, that we'll be in a better position to serve our students, serve our teachers. We're at a population at Macapin of about 520 students. That school has a capacity of 840 students. I think it might be about time that we consider, and we've had these discussions already, but you guys are going to need to have these discussions, except for Rodney and I, about the possibility of moving the 6th grade students to Macapin. I don't think they really want to hang out with kindergarten kids, and a lot of districts have a 6, 7, 8 middle school, and because we're approaching half capacity at Macapin, that it's another worthwhile endeavor to look at, along with the possibility of redistricting and maybe closing an elementary school. These are all things that we should look at for the sake of the community and the staff. Some people aren't going to like it, but, you know, it's something that we need to take a close look at. For a board to be effective, we need to work together. When we're not told the whole truths and all the information, it's hard for us to work as a board. And at the same time, when board members don't return calls, can't say with a straight face how they really feel and truth, that's, I think, in this past year is what has divided this board a little bit. And if you're going to be collaborative, that means, when somebody calls, return a phone call. If you don't feel the same way you felt about a fellow board member, tell them. Don't lie to them. Just tell them. I know myself, I can take it. And I think all of us to work with a board that we respect one another, we respect when we tell each other the truth and we have these conversations. To go behind people's backs, and it's not good. It's just not good. And if this new board wants to work collaboratively, then I hope that they heed some of these words. But that's for the new board to do, not for me to say. But I just hope to God, for the sake of our students and staff, that you guys can all work together and work together harmoniously. Remember, it's not about your egos or my ego or anybody else. It's about what we do here for the kids. And that's it. That's the only thing that any of us should be talking about, is the kids, and just the kids. If you don't like somebody, you know what? That can't even come into the equation, because it's about the kids. It's not about personal egos. With that, I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. I'd say Happy Holidays, but I celebrate Christmas. If you want to say to me Happy Hanukkah or whatever, Kwanzaa, go right ahead. But for me, it's Merry Christmas. Hope you all have a wonderful New Year, and you can count on me being the audience coming in January to keep an eye on what you guys are doing and express my opinions, because I think that the more you hear from the community, the better off you all are. So I wish everyone here the best of luck come January, and I'll call it quits for my last president's report. We're going to move on to petitions and requests. Petitioners who have requested to speak prior to the meeting will be first with 5 minutes for each petitioner for a period of 30 minutes. And then, time permitting, other petitions and requests limited to 5 minutes per petitioner will be allowed until the 30-minute period transpires. Petitioners speaking during petitions and requests are asked to address topics listed in the agenda. All speakers are asked to give their full name, spell their last name, and provide their address. Speakers may not use the names of students during petitions and requests. Barbara, do we have anybody who's signed up?
No.
Would anybody like to speak for first round of petitions and requests? No? Okay.
Move to close petitions and requests.
Second.
Thank you, Glenn and Will. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
All right, before we vote to accept the agenda, I would like to make 2 amendments, 2 changes. Page 13, Personnel Student Affairs, Resolution number 16. The 4th name down, Jessica Gonda, that should be nurse, substitute nurse, not teacher. And on page 16, Personnel Student Affairs, Resolution number 28. The last name under WMEA agreement should read Glenn Wagner.
You going to send him a copy of that with that check?
Corrected one.
I'm sure he'll like that. I guess those are the only 2 corrections. Okay, no hand carries?
No.
Nothing? Okay. All right. Need a motion to adopt the agenda as presented with the corrections.
I move to adopt the agenda as presented with the correction. Wait.
Second.
Wait.
Sorry.
Mr. Bailey?
Under policy, I'd like to have 1 and 2 voted separately, please.
Okay?
Sorry about that.
You can do that, ask that, don't do it at any time, but, you know, sooner the latter, sooner is better. Okay?
My motion still stands then.
Yeah. Okay, Will, did we second? Did we get a second?
Yeah, still going.
Okay.
Or we'll make the motion, Debbie second.
Debbie.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
I was looking at someone else.
Will, Debbie, okay.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Mr. Drew, Budget and Finance, sir.
Bear with me. I'd like to move 1 through 12.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Questions on 6 and 7 together and also the new fire alarm. Was there a fire alarm installed that was not working and then there's change orders to fix it, or was there never a new fire alarm?
This is in the auditorium?
Yeah. Because I understood that after everything was all done, they were having electrical problems with the fire
No, they
alarm.
weren't having any problems with the electrical system. They weren't. The change order that you see before you is a correction because the first change order that was approved by the board included an amount for the sanding of the stage. And it was also included, that same amount, or a lesser amount was included on a subsequent purchase order. So we're correcting the first purchase order to remove the amount that was originally approved. So it's actually overall a lower total amount than the board was intentionally or thought that they were going to be paying out. So there's a difference. So we're actually getting more of a savings for the work that was done.
Okay, I don't understand the connection because it doesn't have the stage in here. It talks about fire alarm and some related, work because of that.
There were, on the first change order that was approved, there was a number of areas. There were 3 things that were incorporated into the payment application. But the reality is that there's a lesser amount that the board is paying. So it's actually a credit to the board. It's not additional money that you're paying out that you've already approved. It's a lesser amount. So the change order balance was corrected. Originally, there was a balance of $2,800. And with the revised change order, you have a balance of $6,200. So that was still money that you had set aside to apply toward the next change order. The reality is that as the change orders, you had 3 change orders, so you're paying out a lesser amount of money.
As we're discussing this, I'm not going to be around, but you guys need to take a good look at the bid specs for that high school auditorium. The bid specs were perfectly clear that the contractor had to take the utmost care when tearing down the ceiling to make sure that the fire alarm system continued to work. It was operational. That we all know that wasn't the case. We then had to do a fire walk every half an hour to appease the town fire marshal, which our guys did, not their guys. That came out of our pockets, and that's something that you guys need to clear up with the vendor. We shouldn't have paid for that. If you look at...
I'm confused. Who's supposed to advocate on our behalf?
I'm sorry, what? What? I didn't hear you.
Who's supposed to advocate on our behalf for things like that? If the contractor made a mistake, the contractor should be resolving it, not us. And we shouldn't be paying extra for it.
We shouldn't, because if you look at the
Well, I
time.
still need to answer the question, who's responsible for advocating for us? Is it the architect? Is it Barbara?
Well, I would say the architect, the clerk of the works, our attorney. I mean, those are our advocates. When you take the fact that a guy's got to do a walkthrough, fill out a report, he's got to stop what he's doing, go down to the auditorium, do the fire walk, fill out his report, go back up, come down another half an hour later. That's about 40 minutes out of that person's hour every day. Out of every hour, 8-hour day, it begins to add up. Okay? So that means that for an hour, he's getting maybe 20 minutes worth of work done, and an hour, he's basically worked 2.5 hours, but he's getting paid for an 8-hour day. Those 5.5 hours, or approximate there, should be reimbursed to us from our contractor. 'Cause we shouldn't have been responsible for that. Hands down, you read the bid specs, it's as clear as the big honker on my face.
Well, are there any discussions
You don't have to
with the
agree, Jim.
contractor,
Thanks.
with the architect to resolve that in our favor? Because
You have to realize something, that we had a responsibility to have that room available to work in. And the fire alarm system was not, it made no sense, if you want to repeat the whole story, it made no sense for us to put the new ceiling up on old wiring. So we had the wiring replaced, and it was tied into the existing fire alarm system. But we had to make that room available for the contractor, because otherwise we would have had a breach of contract, and they would have been suing us because they signed a contract to get work done, and the room was not available for them to work in.
So the wiring for the fire alarm was not in the original bid specs?
No, it was not.
Okay, that's why it's not.
It was
But
not.
when you read the bid specs, and Barbara, I'll argue this with you all day long, you know, the bid specs said they're supposed to take the utmost care of the wiring to ensure that that fire alarm system is operational during the entire construction project.
And
And they just ripped and tore and snapped wires and,
Well, we should be talking to them about the cost that we incurred with having personnel there, but the actual cost of the fire alarm system was an upgrade, right?
Yes, it was, because you didn't want to have, because eventually we have to talk about redoing the fire alarm system at the high school because of the age of the system. And if you had to rewire, you would not have wanted to go and rip down the ceiling or go behind the ceiling in order to rewire it. So now that whole section of the building is complete, so that when we eventually get to the point of putting in a new fire alarm system, they could just tie in that new wiring to a new system. And we worked with the fire marshal in order to come up with an acceptable solution, and this was it.
Could you explain number 8 to me?
number 8 on page 6, Barbara.
There were allowances in the original contract, and after everything was added up, we had a $300,000 allowance that was not used. So out of that $300,000, the board is getting returned to them $236,063. That's what that means.
Will that be, does that go in the general fund, Barbara, or does that have to go towards
Debt
bond payment?
service.
Okay. That's a good thing.
So we want to definitely get us something.
But there, now, out of that was the roof project at both of the buildings, but they are doing the work at Westbrook here? Was that on the penthouse?
That was done.
That was done, that new roof, okay.
That was completed before school started.
Okay. All right, any other questions on items 1 through 12? Steve, go ahead.
On item 10, I'd like to commend those employees for, I assume these are actions they took to stay healthy that were rewarding. So that's great. And 8, that's fantastic that we got 240,000.
Number 10, Steve, that health benefits incentive
Yeah.
is they are dropping our insurance because that a family member has it and we're giving them.
So that isn't quit smoking or something?
No.
All right. The 240,000, that's absolutely fantastic. I do have question. If we already bonded for that? Or
Yes.
Do we reduce the amount of the bond or pay
No.
the bond back immediately?
No, we bonded for $6.5 million. Originally, the community approved us for 7.9,
Yeah.
but when the bids came in and they were about $1 million less than we anticipated, we only bonded for 6.5. Whatever is remaining out of that 6.5 million that we bonded goes into debt service. So that money would be used to help pay down the bond.
So we're saying we spent less than the 6.5, so we
Right.
make an immediate bond payment for the
No,
difference?
you don't, no.
It's a
We,
schedule.
well,
Steve,
there's a schedule.
schedule of payments that you
There's a
pay.
schedule of payments.
And we just stay
So-
with the schedule. What year does that 240 go into? Is that last fiscal year, this fiscal year? When do we recognize you getting it?
It'll be recognized in the next audit, June 30th of 2018, and it's available to use in the 18-19 budget.
Fantastic. Great, thank you.
Does that lower our, because we have a certain amount of money that we collect for debt service. So will we collect less on the debt service
If we're
that year?
using it, if we're using that money, it
For debt
offsets
service.
debt
It'll
service.
offset, so
Right.
for,
It'll offset the amount that we collect in taxes for that particular year. You don't want to use, if you have 400,000, you don't want to use it because then the next year you're going to spike your taxes again. So you want to use it gradually to try to keep some equilibrium. You look ahead and you see what your next year's payments are going to be with principal and interest, and you try to make it as equalized as possible to prevent spikes in the tax levy.
you would use that money then over
You could use it
5
over
or
a
6
period
years or whatever?
Right, depending on how much it actually comes down to. And if you see that your payment is actually going to go down in the following year, then you could adjust it
So
accordingly.
technically, could we put that money in an interest-bearing account?
No,
No? And
it just stays in your fund balance.
stays in the fund balance? Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Any other questions? No? Roll call, please, on items 1 through 12, Barbara?
Mr. Bailey?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Robbins?
Yes.
Mr. Huber?
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mr. Drew?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Seidowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Foodie?
Yes.
I would like to move item 13, please.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call then?
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mr. Robbins?
Yes.
Mr. Drew?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Huber is absent for the vote. Mr. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Seidowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Foodie?
Yes on payroll and legal bills, and no on everything else.
I would like to move item number 14, please.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please, Barbara?
Ms. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Robbins?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz? Mr. Huber? Mr.
Step
Drew?
out of the bathroom.
Mr. Drew?
Yes.
Mr. Seidowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Foodie?
Yes.
I would like to move items 15 and 16.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Drew?
Yes.
Ms. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mr. Robbins?
Yes.
Mr. Seidowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Foodie?
Yes.
You're up there.
Thank you, Steve. Mrs. Dwyer, Education.
I'd like to move to approve items 1 through 7 under education.
Second.
Any discussion? Will?
What is, in item number 2, what is contemporary crafts and what is communications design?
Temporary crafts. This is part of a plan to, right now our students are able to take courses, art 1 through 4, on the track for AP Studio. This allows a student who might not necessarily be on the AP track to pursue more focused mediums, painting, craft, etc. So I can just give you a quick synopsis of the craft.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
That's fine. Came prepared. Topics covered include basketry, printmaking, weaving, paper making, altered objects, ceramics, foil repuse, basic jewelry, and other techniques. And they're half-year electives, the different medium courses.
Thank you. And communications
Communication
design.
design, poster design, bag design, album cover design, menu designs, design terms, space, and compositional designs. 2D, features that primarily exist in 2D. Graphic design, advertising, fundamentals. That seems to be the more of a principles of design, I guess is the language that could have been used for this course, but maybe a little bit more flashy, it's 2D design.
And that uses a current teacher for those courses?
All these courses require current staff.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question on number 1, probably for Alex. Does the memorandum agreement include active shooter protocols, things like that?
In essence, the memorandum really, they leave it up to districts, but the memorandum just is a information sharing agreement between the schools, the police department, and the prosecutor's office. So we all agree, there's 5 signatories, the superintendent, the board president, the county superintendent, the local police chief, and the county prosecutor. So we agree to share information throughout the year. It's an annual document that we complete and submit.
Do we have active shooter protocols set up already?
We have school safety teams that meet monthly, and we do have plans in place.
I was going to bring it up under new business, and I think I probably will just for the sake of moving this along. But what had occurred last Friday, I think the way it was handled scared a lot of kids. There was a lot of yelling at the kids, telling them to get in the auditorium. It kind of freaked them out.
I never want to yell.
Well,
I didn't hear that.
I did. Yeah, my daughter and from a lot of other kids who said the same thing, and that doesn't. I think that's why kids were texting their parents and freaking out. So you know, if we want the kids to remain calm, we got to remain calm.
Sure,
So,
no doubt.
I hope that you would look into that.
Okay.
Any other thing, Steve?
If I can briefly, I'm really excited about number 2, some of the new courses we're offering. AP Computer Science, Robotics 1 and 2, Animation, Video Game Design, several new art courses. So, you know, thank you, Mr. Novak. These are, you know,
I didn't propose
we're
it.
expanding.
Our supervisory staff did a great job proposing.
Well, in general, the administration to come forward with these kinds of courses that are relevant and interesting to kids and keep them engaged. I just
An
love it.
exciting list.
This is
And
fantastic.
And last year, I think we added some other really good courses, some innovative business courses and things like that. So it's steadily, the curriculum is really becoming progressive, more progressive. Really good.
Good stuff.
Anything else? Roll call then, please, Barbara?
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mr. Drew?
Yes.
Mr. Huber?
This is 1 through 7, right?
Yes.
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 Ms. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Seidowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Robbins?
Yes.
Mr. Foodie?
Yes. Number 8, we will take action on after executive session. Mrs. O'Brien, Personnel, Student Affairs.
I'd like to make a motion to approve items 1 through 42 on the Personnel Student Affairs. Second.
Any discussion?
Question on 26. What's the exact function of the intervention specialist at $150 an hour?
Our intervention specialists, this is a position we've had on and off over the years. It's funded through our title grant. Intervention specialist has been, as we used it last year. Last year, we were able to have them in all of our elementary schools and 2 at Macapin. This year, our funding structure only allowed for it to be in a few locations. So the purpose is to identify our students who are in greatest need from our basic skills selection and work on them in a very targeted capacity in the brief time that we have them.
And do they do that, do they separate them out of class?
It depends on the building. It depends on period by period. The building principals work with their on-course staff which is our basic skills instruction, and our reading specialists to determine the best use of that individual. It sometimes takes the view of a balance. Sometimes they'll push into the course and support the students in the classroom, and sometimes they'll pull them out at additional times. So it really varies, and they end up doing both.
The 27, addition of a snow removal worker. Is that, what's that for? Is that for the buses?
Yes.
Wasn't that the purpose of us getting that?
They need people to move the buses.
Oh, okay, so that's what that person will be, just moving buses?
We have a crew, and depending on the amount of snowfall, they call in certain amount of people. They have to move the buses.
So you're adding this person to that list?
Right.
I think on number 29, the number of margins, I'm taking that till after executive session. I'd just like to clarify my understanding of the implications of that with our contract negotiation.
You want to make a motion to table it, or?
I thought you could just do it.
I thought I could just do that.
Yeah.
Just to ask for the.
You can
Vote
call
on it
for,
in executive session.
yeah.
You call the table, so I just
Yeah.
want to make sure.
Oh, no, I use one more.
We're doing it
I was
tonight.
meant to do it after.
If we're doing it tonight, then yeah, we can just
Yeah,
hold on
that's
to
what
it.
executive session.
So you want a separate vote on that separate?
Yeah.
after executive 29.
Last 2.
Okay. Anything else?
1 second. Yeah, number 34. Under number 34, there seems to be disparity in payment between music teachers and other teachers. Is that because music teachers spend more hours, or is it just because they're getting paid more per hour? I mean, the music teachers seem to be getting paid roughly 3 times what the art teachers are getting paid.
Different amount of hours.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That includes the rehearsals for the performances, which the industrial arts would be doing. They're
They've already done
doing
in class.
It's in the class.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hey, Steve, did I see your hand up before?
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm slightly confused on item 29, which is our extra payment for Teachers of the Year. One, I don't think we read out the people that are receiving that, and I would like to. I'm also confused about why in the last meeting we voted to approve that. So why are we voting on it again?
You voted to approve the concept, but every time we put out money,
You have to
make a
vote,
payment, the board
yeah.
has to approve it.
Okay, so we've already approved doing it,
And then this
and now we're just going to allocate it
doing it, but we haven't.
as opposed to
But
putting
there's no vote on
towards
it yet
the
until
bills and
executive
so on
session.
and so forth.
I didn't remember that. In that case, I'm going to withdraw my request to vote on it after executive session. I can still ask the question in executive session anyway.
Okay.
Okay?
Well, if you don't
So then it
mind,
is-
I would like
So we're including
to thank Dr. Adams
including
to actually
29 will be
recognize the
included in
people
the vote,
who've
correct? Just
gone
ask this
above and
question, right?
beyond in their earning budget.
We had the Teachers of the Year honored last year at a board meeting, all the 8 names, and then we brought the winner to our June meeting. So this is really just a perfunctory to make sure we authorize us to pay these people. So we're very proud of them. We know who they are, and we will continue to honor them. We actually have our newest, our 17-18 Teachers of the Year just came in today. So we'll honor them in the January meeting, so we're going to get right back to it.
3 times as many. You like that? There you go.
Okay, so I guess we're not going to mention them.
You want to read, he wants you to read the names off.
Sure.
I would
I'm
love
more
to
than
read
happy
them.
to say, outstanding job. I'm really happy we've got people like this. I've
They've
met
been,
some of them.
they've
We're
been,
just lucky
everybody,
to have them.
Steve, everybody's been riced who's on here, so you can, you know.
He just wants them recognized.
Sure, I would love to call them out, read them into the records. So we have
But you can say.
School Teachers of the Year, at Westbrook School, Allison Perry. At Upper Greenwood Lake, Blake Visconti. At Paradise Knoll, Brian Leslie. Marshall Hill, Ellen Comerford. At Maple Road, Diana Bavona. Apshua School, Christina Rodek. At Macapin School, Mary Bozemeyer. And our High School Teacher of the Year, District Teacher of the Year, and Passaic County Teacher of the Year, Nicole Petrosillo. So congratulations to all our staff. And like I said, we'll be right back at it in January with the new slate of Teacher of the Year and Education Service Professionals of the Year as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
We done with the discussion on items 1 through 42? Okay, roll call, please, Barbara.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mr. Drew?
Yeah.
Mr. Huber?
Yes.
Ms. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Seidowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Robbins?
Yes.
Mr. Foodie?
Yes. Glenn, policy, please.
I'll move item number 1.
Second.
And I'm going to ask, with these particular items, there's been quite a bit of discussion. I'm going to ask, and both of them seem to be, to me at least, patently apparent. I don't think nepotism is a good thing at any time. Most corporations recognize that it's not a good thing, and most other organizations, school districts and such. And the conduct of the board meeting, in which I know it's not under the motion just now, has to do with attendance, and we're also fixing the fact that we don't have to talk at the legal for executive session every month. Okay? So either one of these things, If you have an objection that's non-political, that's based on its merits, I'm asking you to please tell us what it is during discussion so that we can properly consider everything. I think too many times we just vote yay or nay, and nobody understands why the others voted the way they did. And instead of coming up with the best solutions, we simply vote something up or down instead of maybe making it better. All right, so I guess discussion on number one, I guess, would come next.
Any discussion on item one? Mr. Bailey?
Nice try. Here's what throws me. Who's running this meeting? The president? Or have you acquiesced? And this portion of it is the policy chairman. Am I going to question him or run my questions through you to the rest of the board?
Why am I going to be glad to be off of this in about an hour? I can tell you.
The
Questions go to the board president. He was just making a statement. As chairman of the policy committee, he was just making a blanket statement, and that's it. What questions do you have, Greg?
So I'm going to ask you the question, and you're going to throw it around to the rest of the board.
What's the question?
Here's the question, here's the comment. This is a joke. And I'm even a little surprised that you, as the superintendent, allowed this to even see the light of day out of the policy committee, because you sit in on all of those committees, so I'm disappointed. Furthermore, in West Milford, as stated previously, it's a multi-generational employee. So by putting in this restrictive policy tonight, I believe it may take away opportunities from those that we don't even know about. And it could be good, bad, or otherwise. Because in a place like West Milford, in a close-knit, tight community that we all live in and love, I think it's a good thing when our own bubble up to the top through an interview process and are considered to be brought before the board for hiring. So this is micromanaging, this is wrong, I'm disappointed in the policy committee, and I'll be voting no on this tonight because I think it's too restrictive. And again, I must say I'm disappointed in you, the superintendent, and I think my words speak about how I feel about the policy committee. Looking forward to the future, where maybe we can begin to modify some things and keep moving forward instead of trying to throw the brakes on everything around here, which is why the meeting is 9:30 at night.
Are you done?
Maybe.
Okay.
You know, ask again.
I just, I got to say this, Greg. You're on the policy committee, so I'm glad that you're disappointed with yourself. However, Dr. Anamone has been to every meeting and has listened to us as we've discussed things, and he's advised us. You know, surprisingly enough, you've been on this board for, 20 years? Boards operate by setting goals and setting policy, and that's what we're doing. That's our job. That's the only thing we can do. We're not micromanaging, as you say. If you were here at board meetings, you were on the education committee last year, you didn't show up once. You're on the policy committee this year, you didn't show up once. Not once. You had the opportunity plenty of times. If anybody's going to be disappointed, I can say unequivocally, I'm disappointed that in 20 years that you would have made a good faith effort to do this. But you haven't. Just like you haven't sat in on any of the superintendent interviews or any of our board goal meetings in the 7 years that I've been here. And from speaking with other board members, the same. So, you could say all you want and disparage him. Look in the mirror first. Terry?
May I ask Mr. Roselli a question? What is the difference between a bylaw and a policy?
Technically, nothing. The bylaws control how the board acts, but it's basically a policy that the board itself follows.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Any other discussion on number one? Steve, I saw your hand up first. And Glenn, I'll get you.
Now, my understanding with regard to nepotism, state law, New Jersey state law requires us to have a policy on nepotism. I'm not going to pass judgment on whether they ought to or not, but it is a state law. The difference between the second version and the original version, we had some comments that it was too restrictive, and I think, you know, we may have been about to go down a path that would keep us from hiring the best person. So we made a change to it that we can hire whoever we want. You know, we can go ahead and you know, hire an employee, so on and so forth. And the only difference is that when we're about to do so, the administration should tell us we're considering an employee who's closely related to somebody or a board member, and we require one extra vote. So this is really not a situation where we're going to say, oh, we'll never even consider that or anything. Of course we'll consider that, certainly if they're the best person. So, you know, one, we have to have a policy, and two, we're just saying, personally, I want to know about it. If we're considering hiring somebody who's a close relative to somebody else, I'd like to know in advance to say, let's make sure we're really doing that and giving a way to do it.
Can I just ask a question?
Sure.
In terms of being someone involved in the hiring process, setting up interviews, et cetera, how do we know if they're the best person if we don't go through that interview process? So I guess my question is, how do we set up the interview process with the potential, though, that they would be
I wouldn't make any changes at all.
Right.
You're not disqualifying them. Go through your normal interviews, and if it turns out that, and you make your judgment, we don't, if it turns out that the person you think is the best person for the job is a close relative, just inform the board when we vote on it, and we need one extra vote. So it's really not a...
State law already prohibits us from hiring a family member from a board or a relative of the superintendent.
Yeah.
So, you know, that, it would be moving onward to people that are already working in the district. But they can still apply. They can still apply. They can still go through the interview process. It would just require a 2/3 majority of the board, 6 out of the 9.
One clarification, the way we did have it set up, and this was actually partly Dr. Engelmann's wording, is that if there's a particular need or a unique quality, then that makes you know, a relative specifically eligible, and Dr. Engelmann can then recommend them, and we can vote with the 2/3 vote instead of majority vote, which is 6 instead of 5 votes.
Okay. Now, you had your hand up, Glenn?
That was the clarification.
Okay. Nicole, you had your hand up as well. No, you had it before, Greg.
I just want full disclosure.
I recognize that the state requires us. Again, I think I've said it before. I still think this is way more restrictive than any, I didn't look at a ton, but every school district that I looked at is not this restrictive. They have the policy in there. I think this is going to hold a lot of people back. You know, I agree that this is definitely the type of district where we are encouraging that community environment, and I think it really is the best person for the job. And it could be a relative, and I think someone made the comment about corporations having nepotism policies, and again, it's around that supervisory element, where somebody's reporting to somebody, where somebody has, you know, obviously the superintendent can't hire a relative, right? Who's got, you know, oversees everything that they do. But to have a teacher in an elementary school and, you know, a bus driver, one has absolutely nothing to do with the other. And I think it's really about allowing people to apply and hire the best person. And I think this is just way limiting and very, very restrictive, and not in line with what other districts are doing either.
Greg, you had your hand up again?
Yeah, clarification. We have an existing policy on the books, you know, as per state law, that deals with the subject of nepotism, correct?
Yep.
So I want to know who suggested that we change the existing policy. Did that come from the board or from the administration or from some outside source?
Came from the board.
Name, please.
What's that?
Who, please?
Who? It was just in discussion, and we all decided to, so it was the people on the policy committee, so it would be.
I can't remember who.
I don't know who.
The policy committee recognized there was a problem in the district with nepotism. And again, it's hard to talk about without naming names. But, I mean, there's issues where, you know, people's, you know, spouses, girlfriends get jobs, and, you know, certain parents get favoritism because somebody was hired in that's friends of theirs, or whatever it may be. There's a lot of problems that aren't covered by this policy. So, you know, to do what we can with this policy, to me, having heard all of these things that happen, is a minimal effort to try and make things just a little bit better. I do have a question for the administration.
Oh,
How many?
Hold up.
What percentage?
Hold up.
Yeah.
Greg, does that answer your question?
No, not at all, Jim. Nice try. As a matter of fact, again, now what I'm hearing is that our administrative team needs help in all of this. You need a better policy. Because no matter who was at the policy committee meeting or not, now what I'm hearing is that this problem was identified, and as a good board, we decided to do something about it. But I've yet to hear who is making these claims besides my colleague here. Furthermore, one more point. As board members, we have resources that are available to us. And one of them is attorney of the day, very simple number, 609. When I ran this by the person I was talking to at the other end in our field office down in Trenton, in not so many words, I'm not putting words in their mouth, but they did use terms like, it's rather different, I've not seen it in other districts. I'm not going to put Mr. Roselli on the spot, who represents other districts. However, I do have a saying at a time like this. If something is so good in Lakeland, or in Vernon, or in neighboring districts, I don't understand why it always is such an issue that we talk about on and on and on in West Milford. I don't get that part, whether it's turf fields or whether it's something like this. And that'll be my final statement on this, other than I'm voting no for the reasons I've just talked about. That's it for me on this one.
Okay, Terry?
I have a concern that these people that work for us who are related in some way may come up from a promotion and may be discriminated against because they're related to somebody. And I'll be voting no for that reason.
Glenn, you had...
I'm trying to frame a question because I don't understand that connection.
The connection is that if person A is related to someone on the board or a supervisor, and that person is up for a promotion, he's not, and he's excellent, he's not going to get that promotion because he's related to somebody.
This is strictly a hiring policy. It has nothing to do with anything after they're hired.
Well, you're hired in another position, you know, so
No, once they're in the district, I think they're in the district, yes?
No.
So?
Can I see there should be an exception. I thought there was an exception for promotions.
I didn't see that. If they were already here, yeah. It would be a new position, and according to this thing.
My understanding is, I mean, you guys should do whatever you think is best for the district. We vote on all these things anyhow, and when we vote, if we have one of these cases, it takes one extra vote. I think I'm reading it right.
Did I read it right? But what about a promotion? If the person is in effect going for a new position?
They get the opportunity because they've been here already.
See, that's the last.
Excuse me? I didn't hear you. No, I heard lawyer. And
It's very sensitive.
That's never a good thing to hear.
Yeah, this is, well, Mr. Bailey doesn't show up to anything, he really doesn't.
Can I call the question?
Let's call the question.
Can I call the question? Then you gotta read it 2 more times. Don't make
Does that need a second?
Yes.
Okay, fine.
No, it was already seconded, wasn't it? Yeah. It was
No, calling the
seconded.
question. So I understand what they're asking.
No, you just call the question.
Okay. Did you say?
Call the question.
All right, call the question. Barbara, would you do the roll call on item 1 under policy, please?
Mr. Bailey?
No.
Mr. Seidowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Drew?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
No.
Mr. Foodie?
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz?
No.
Mr. Huber?
Yes.
Mr. Robbins?
Yes.
Okay, that passed.
That
Glenn?
having been said, I'm gonna review it regarding the promotions.
Yeah,
We might
good
have another
idea.
version coming up.
Sorry.
No, I think
It should be reviewed for that.
I didn't remember if it was in there, and I didn't have it with me, so I'll think
I'll talk to you about that later, and it should be reviewed for that issue.
Glenn,
And I'm not a
number
lawyer.
2?
I'll move number 2 under policy.
Second.
Thanks, Will. Any discussion? Greg?
I don't get the part about, and I know this is dear to me, because I come and go as I please, which I'm not proud of, but I do. So how will we quantify the 75%? Will I get a time card? Will I get facial recognition, a fob? What is the mechanic? What are you laughing at over there? I'm serious. How are we going to do this? How are we going to determine what constitutes 75%, whether I'm absent or not?
My understanding, may I answer the question?
You can answer the
My
question if you'd like.
understanding is that
No,
the board secretary keeps track of the time of the meeting from start to finish, and keeps track of the time of when members arrive and leave. And if you're 75% of the time of the meeting, the span of the meeting, that's it.
Okay, so let's say I only make, on a night, 70%. That's a lot of time, 70% of a meeting. What happens to my actions during that percentage of time? Are they?
They're counted.
This is one for you.
They counted.
Are they, I'm sorry?
They count.
Oh, they do?
Yep.
The votes count, right?
Yes,
That's what we're
this is
talking about.
strictly for.
Okay, so
attendance
while I'm
purposes.
here, my votes count, my actions count, which is what's important to me. However, if I don't make the 75%, I'm going to be voted absent.
You would be deemed to be absent under this bylaw.
And what's the sig-
No, there's no vote.
No, no, but his votes count, you said?
Yeah.
Yes, you can't, the votes always
That's
count.
good news. Knock it off.
That would be really hard to manage.
That's good news.
No, there's no way not to manage, the votes would count.
The votes would count.
And what is the significance of being classified absent from a board meeting?
We have an attendance policy in the meeting, for all our meetings. That's where it would come in.
What's the significance of that?
Well, if the board so wished, if I came in and didn't attend 75% of 3 meetings or 4 meetings, you could ask for me to be removed and vote on it.
So in other words, Joe,
There is a law.
if we have
To be consecutive meetings,
uh,
right?
a board member, forget that. If I'm in violation of the attendance policy, there's mechanisms that could be triggered that could lead to me being removed from the board.
Technically, yes. There is a law that says if a board member misses 3 consecutive meetings without good cause, they could be removed by the rest of the board.
Let me ask.
What that means
Yeah,
is,
exactly.
up to the
Where
board.
do you think that kind of a thing would be vetted, argued, discussed? Because when it comes time for me to push back, I could come in with my 70% attendance record.
Yep.
And probably persuade what?
Well,
an arbitrator, an administrative law judge? Who will I be appearing before?
Well, first, you would, I don't want to call it appear, but it would be discussed before the board,
Right.
and then they would make a decision. And let's say the decision was to remove a board member,
Right.
not you personally.
Yes, but just use me, it's a good example.
Then the question would be, and I'm not going to give any individual advice, but the question in general would be.
I have my own lawyer, thank you, sir.
It's not that, it's that we're on TV.
Well, TV.
Or-
TV, yeah, TV.
The question would be, what is good cause? So you would have to go to an administrative law judge and just argue whether it was good cause.
Oh, so in other words, if my absence may be related to my, say, what I do for a living, that might be good cause.
For a
Along
judge.
the
it's a
lines of,
judge-
sadly, if I had an illness. Correct?
Illness would be good cause, but it's a judge's decision after the board's decision.
Have you ever seen in another district anybody removed from a board because of this kind of thing?
No.
Mr. Roselli, is there any potential of adding language to include attendance at executive sessions?
Well,
That's technically part of the meeting.
it's part of the meeting, so you wouldn't need it because the time the meeting is open and the time the meeting is closed is the meeting time.
I move to propose an amendment. I move to amend 75% to 50%. It's dead.
Okay, there's no second. So,
Hold on one second, I have a question. The amendment has to
What's
be
your
seconded.
question? What's your
The amendment has to be
Forget it, I'm
seconded.
gonna wait for it to be seconded. If it's not gonna be a second, it's like air flying around for nothing.
It wasn't, so,
Yes, sir.
do you have a question now?
No.
Oh,
And one last short comment, that when we run for the school board, my understanding is we understand that this is a time sink, that this is a lot of time investment for the kids of the district. And it just surprises me that anybody wouldn't try and attend fully. Because otherwise, why did you run? And that's all I have to say.
Jim, it's your
Go
last
ahead, Greg.
meeting, you're the
Go ahead.
president. I'll stop, or I have a reply to that. Listen, in the spirit of the holidays, as a going-away gift, you make the choice. In other words, I have a question to put before the board, or I'll just shut up and take the vote.
No, you speak, Greg. If you got a question you want to put before the board, that's
Thank
your
you.
prerogative, sir.
Happy holidays to you, Jim. Here's the real point. This board takes such an inordinate amount of time to conduct these meetings. And I can speak from experience, because what's gone on here recently is something that I've not seen before. Furthermore, as board members, we do a lot of work here on TV, sitting around this table. All of us do a lot of work in other ways, not sitting around the table, attending committee members, occasionally calling the administrators, not to be a drag on, you people are very busy, but we all have a way to get things done. Certainly I have after all these years. And certainly the fact that I continue to have the support of my citizens come that special time in November speaks for themselves. So for you to question about how I conduct my board business, because I'm not clocked in for the full extent of these meetings, which I agree is wrong. However, we all do it in our own way. Some of us are more effective in other ways than others. And this nailing me down to this percentage, shame on you there, sir, for trying to lower it and make it worse, I think is wrong. Because that's what makes this board, this town, and state and country great. We all bring something to the table. We all bring different strengths and values. And just because my work might not be done, or I might not be at my best right here on the third Tuesday of every month, do not talk to me about being an effective board member, because my record speaks for itself, and I'll put it up against anybody. And I've seen all different types of boards, and that's my main complaint. If you could promise me that these meetings would start even at 7 and be over at 9, 70% or 75%, whatever it is, too easy, duck soup. But that's the real problem here. The meetings kick off at 7:30, and it's like a Stanley Cup hockey game. If it's tied after 3 periods, we don't know when that next goal is going to come. And it could go on until 12:30 at night. That's a nice wintertime hockey analogy. That's the point.
Will, I'm going to, you want to make a statement, or?
Call the question.
I want to call the question.
Yeah, I agree with Jim.
The 75% to 60%.
I'm going to call the question, Will. Barbara?
Yes.
Roll call, please, on number 2.
Mr. Bailey?
No.
Mr. Seidowitz?
No.
Mr. Drew?
No.
Mrs. Dwyer?
No.
Mr. Foodie?
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz? No. Mr. Huber?
Yes.
Mr. Robbins?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. We're going to move on to special committees and liaison reports. Mr. Seidowitz, Parks and Recreation.
I do not have a report, but I do wish to inform the board that Mr. Guardino, trustee-elect Guardino, is the chairman of the Recreation Advisory Committee, and I'm pretty sure you'll be happy to keep that job, so that frees up a Thursday for me.
Okay, nothing on safety, superintendent's roundtable?
Okay, it was quite a meeting. A lot was discussed about virtual backpacks and the high school band website, and Dr. Anamone is taking care of that. The biggest concern that I see that came out of this was, once again, the voting location at PK. Parents want to know what's been done about it. They were concerned that people were using the kids' bathrooms to go in and out of, and one security guard was certainly not enough. Also, the 5th grade chorus and band, there's an inconsistency throughout the district. Most of the elementary schools require chorus, but Maple Road offers a choice. And they want to know why this isn't consistent throughout the district. Mr. Novak explained somewhat why this happens, and that was done. But kindergarten paperwork is being included in the packet. And other than that, the biggest thing, as I said, was once again, the PK voting place. My suggestion was to get in contact with Terry Duffy, our freeholder, and hopefully maybe he could do something for us to move the voting place.
Yeah, just an update, Terry. I'm going
Go
to
ahead.
brief the entire WAMPA group on, I guess it's Thursday of this week. I did send a letter to Ms. Battaglia, the Township Administrator, formally requesting that the Township moves the voting at PK to another location.
Okay,
So-
thank you. Thanks. I'll see you Thursday.
There's a bill in the legislature defining when or whether that can occur, and access and separate access and so on.
Right.
So absolutely impossible to tell whether that will be approved.
Okay.
But it's not just an issue for us.
Mrs. O'Brien, did she leave?
Yeah,
She did, but I did attend that meeting.
Yeah, I saw her holding. Yep.
I did attend that school board's meeting. It was in regards to ethics, and it was a presentation based on different scenarios that board members have been in, and I believe personally that any opportunity that we can get to ever just have that in mind and have that presented to us by attorneys, it's always good to just think of the nuances that could happen to you. So that was held at the Brownstone, and I believe the next Passaic County School Board's meeting is in February, but I'm not 100% certain.
we did have an ethics training last year.
I think every time it comes up, we should just be there just to kind of get the gears always rolling with it.
All right, well, New Jersey School Boards?
Oh, for those newly elected trustees, Governance 1 training will be held January 5th through 7th. I will be attending the January 20th bargaining at the table, and because the several organizations that are going to be in negotiations this upcoming year, I think it's important to just understand the process and to learn more about it. So if anybody is free, I greatly encourage that. Also at the Passaic County School Board's meeting, Kathy Hello was present. She's our field service rep, and she's willing to come and speak to us about the new superintendent evaluation tool. So perhaps that's something that we could take up and perhaps bring to a board meeting. And that's my report. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Drew, legislative and technology oversight.
There is just a ton of stuff in the pipeline in the legislature, but I sort of learned you just have no idea what's going to go through. Which house or one vote, get assigned, new governor, so, I mean, there are just all kinds of things being tried, but nothing substantial that's been passed at this point. And I don't have anything on technology, even though I probably should. I'm sorry.
Nothing on the joint committee. Mr. Huber, CASA.
There hasn't been a meeting since the last meeting, but I do have one announcement. They sent around a notice
marijuana.
about, yes, it's about what to expect with legalized marijuana coming in the upcoming future. It's Friday, January 5th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Eagle Ridge Country Club.
Lakewood.
Okay, and in Lakewood, right.
Lakewood.
Sorry, yes, Lakewood, New Jersey, my apologies. And other than that, I have nothing, but I believe Dr. McQuaid has something that's not a related topic.
Yeah, and just to mention, I know at the SAFE night, we talked about a focus on substance abuse and mental health issues. So we do have planned, we did a little save the date at the SAFE night, but I just wanted to remind the public that we do have an open workshop that's called Substance Abuse and Mental Health Issues, What Every Parent Needs to Know. It is open to all parents, January 10th, this coming year, 7:00 p.m. here in Westbrook. So it's open to parents. Our key presenters, we have Janice Garish, one of our student assistance counselors. We have Child Study Team social workers, our elementary social workers, Highlander Academy social workers. We also have some people from the community that are offering some support services, and CASA will also be there representing as well. The topics are parent awareness, mental health impact, signs and symptoms. We're going to have one of our nurses presenting as well. Suicide prevention, access to care, community resources, and also a Q&A. So I think it'll be a nice event, and we're encouraging all parents. We're going to really try to target, again, that starting at 5th, but all the way up to grade 12 parents. So hopefully we will have a large group here.
Thank you, Liz.
Thank you.
We're going to move on to old business. We have two items here under old business, bleachers at McCormick Field and Hillcrest RFI request for information. I know that you and Barbara are working on that.
I've completed a draft of the RFI. Barbara is reviewing it.
Okay.
And as soon as we'll discuss it and get it out.
Okay. I had told Alex there's a possibility that there's a church in town that might want to take Hillcrest.
A church?
A church. They had rented from us, rented that building in the past. There was no air conditioning, so after the first year, they didn't renew. But their idea is to make it a church and also double as a community center. So it would be a good thing if that could come to fruition. Well, you guys will find out. I'll hear about it, but you guys will find out. I'll let them know when those requests for information, and they'll be in touch with Alex and Barbara, and probably speaking with Joe as well. Bleachers at McCormick Field, does anybody have anything
No, just I had requested that the Budget Finance, I'll repeat it again, Budget Finance look into the costs and possibilities of doing a natural bleacher on the opposite side of the field against that hill. It seems like it might cost a lot less for the district and enable us to maintain it at low cost so that we'll never have to replace them again, perhaps. Because it seems like a cycled cost. We're going to buy bleachers, they're going to deteriorate. We're going to buy bleachers, they're going to deteriorate. If we build something that can be maintained, then it might not. Also, it seems like on that side of the field, it might be nicer to watch, not into the sun or maybe.
Oh, no, in the afternoon, the sun be right in your face.
Yeah, yeah.
Isn't the issue also with the current bleachers, just the safety of them, but plus the ADA requirements and things as well, so.
Well, there's an ADA stand on the other side of the field that was built. But the issue, well, I don't see it, but there should be an area where there's stairs, some fence
Railings.
along the back in the back end, something at the feet, I think they could be retrofitted, and I gotta believe a lot less than replacing the whole thing, so. But that's your guys' decision in the coming year. You're gonna have to deal with that. Anything else under old business? Okay, we'll need a motion to close old business.
I move to close old business.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? We're going to go on to new business. I have one thing under new business before we get to these resolutions, unless other people have things as well. But committee meetings last week, we were told that the new board members, along with 3 current board members, want to move the meetings to 7 o'clock and have only one a month. I expressed my concerns to Alex. The new board members can't request anything until they're sworn in. I mean, you guys, if there's, I was told that Debbie and Nicole and Greg inquired about that. If you guys want to vote on it now, then Barbara can bring that, but other than that, she really can't be taking any information from current or new board members who haven't even been sworn in. And that brings me to the next thing. To have only one meeting a month, we have one meeting a month in October, November, December, and July and August. Half the year, we have only one meeting a month. The other meetings, you got starting at the budget cycle, coming in January. Those are important discussions that need to be had. And try to move those to one meeting a month. You think you're getting out 10:30 is going to be late? God, you guys will be here because you go through the workshop meetings to ask questions. This meeting has gone a little long because we haven't had a workshop meeting this month. Last meeting went a little long. We had a lot of presentations. And again, we didn't have any workshop meetings where we could ask questions. So the idea of going to one meeting a month, to me, that's being all in for the West Milford children, I tell you. Anybody, do you want to have a vote on that? Go ahead, Will.
I feel that, as you were mentioning, that having one meeting a month pre-budget is very, very, very unconducive to that process. So I could support beyond April, from May on, perhaps.
Look at June. June, you have one meeting that's for awards that runs for 3 hours.
I think that, didn't the schedule reflect that there was an awards and a workshop? Okay.
Yes.
So, at that point, I think we're at the end of the year. I can deal with experiments. And if it goes long, we'll probably figure out quickly that it would be better to have 2 meetings. However, pre-budget season, when we are in discussions, I don't think we should do that. I think that we should combine the 2 elements.
That's a discussion for the new board.
Well, I'm throwing it out there now
Yeah.
as an opinion.
Go ahead, Barbara.
Point of clarification, there was an inquiry. We've had inquiries about creating a schedule for one board meeting a month, but if you notice that my minutes from the Board Budget and Finance Committee meeting and the schedules that were given to you, there were two options available, which will be discussed and included in reorganization. So nothing definitive. We're asked to create a schedule that what it would look like with only one board meeting, but it's up to the new board at reorganization to determine what they feel is important to them.
Well, that was my concern, so I just felt I'd express it to the current board members who are remaining.
Okay,
Thank you.
anything else under new business? Steve?
Two resolutions.
Yeah, no.
I believe there's been some discussion, we might not have TV coverage in the future unless we do something about some kind of modest compensation for our cameramen. So I would like to make a motion to pay the cameramen $50 a meeting.
Second.
Well, I'll second it, or Will did. Nate, that was, as part of Highlander Productions, you had asked for $50 a meeting, is that correct?
That is correct.
Thank you, Nate. All right, any discussion?
Didn't we vote on that? Didn't we discuss and vote on something for that already?
I thought we voted,
misunderstood.
yeah.
I thought
No, we never voted on it.
we discussed
we
it in
discussed-
committee.
We discussed it, but we never voted on it.
Nothing voted.
Go ahead, Will.
Believe it or not, when you volunteer for an arm of the West Milford government, it's very difficult to maintain the volunteers that are in it. You get asked beyond your means more often than not. And the dedication that's put behind the camera for the countless hours, I mean, it's modest. We're talking gas money and the usage of equipment, and there's plenty more that goes into it. I do feel that it's modest. I do feel it's necessary, and I hope that we can support that.
Is the township also compensating
No,
the TV person?
doesn't give them anything. It's like you said, it's volunteer.
But they have a contract with the cable provider regarding video for their meetings because they're the governing body that contracts for who's got the monopoly supply. They didn't really include us in those discussions, so we're running the risk.
But Cablevision doesn't come in and do the meetings. It's volunteers such as Nate that do it. He's not getting paid by the town either. The town made a deal with Cablevision years ago that they get a TV channel for 15 years. Whatever they had decided to pay. Go ahead, Nate.
I will inform you that based on that contract with Cablevision, the only stipulation we have is to cover town council meetings, not Board of Ed meetings.
Yes.
We're doing this as a favor.
And it's nice that it's put on the West Milford TV.
Well,
So the town can see what's happening in the meetings.
being that there were 3 seconds for this motion, which I don't think has ever happened before, I'm going to call the vote, please.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah. We don't want to run the risk of not having these.
And as we're talking $50 a meeting, it's not gonna kill us. So the motion is to
$50
pay
per meeting.
$50 a meeting to Highlander Productions for the taping of meetings, and giving those tapes, I guess, to West Milford TV as well.
Wait a minute. Are we paying Highlander Productions or are we paying Nate for his time?
Nate is Highlander
okay.
Productions.
That's his company.
Okay.
All right? Want to roll call that, please, Barbara?
Mr. Seidowitz.
Yes.
Mr. Drew.
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer.
Yes.
Mr. Foodie.
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz.
Yes.
Mr. Huber.
Yes.
Mr. Robbins.
Yes.
Okay. Now, Dr. Amon.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead.
it's funny that we wrote one today. I just wanted to make one comment. I know there's not a lot of people left, but I thought coming to the end of the year that I just wanted to give a shout out to TV Land, to all of the PTAs at all the schools. There's been just a tremendous amount of activity throughout the district over the past few months and some really amazing events. I've been to several of them, from movie nights to holiday shops to pocketbook bingo to the veterans thing in the schools. I think what's really nice is there's been a lot of crossover between people from different schools coming together. It's really built a community feeling, and it's talking about countless hours. There's tons of time that goes into executing the details of all those events, and I know that a lot of it goes unrecognized, so just wanted to shout out to all of the folks that volunteer from the PTA, as well as all the parents that chip in and things like that.
One more thing. I was going to ask Dr. Anamone and Mr. Novak to give a shout out to the teachers that organized the 7th and 8th grade choir concert. I saw you guys both there, so I know you were there to see what a great job they did.
They did. We've had a great concert season. I've been to probably 6 schools or maybe 5 schools already. I saw a wonderful concert at Maple Road, Upper Greenwood Lake, Westbrook, Macapin High School. We have a final concert for anybody who's interested Thursday night. It is the high school band and instrumental. That's a wonderful concert. So we've had a great concert season across the board at all 3 levels. So kudos to all of our teachers in the music department.
Okay.
All right. Moving on. We have 2 resolutions here in new business. I guess I'll read them. I'd like to vote on them, and then we have 2 plaques for outgoing board members. So,
Alex, one change to that. When it comes to mine, it just happened to be I was appointed in November 2014 to fill a necessary seat on the board. So I'm not sure if that would be modified in this motion.
November of 2014. Okay, and we're going to have to get you a new plaque too, get the right year on it. We won't have that tonight, but whereas Mr. Rodney Robbins has served as a prominent member of the West Milford Township Board of Education from November 2014 until December 2017, and whereas Mr. Robbins has diligently served on the joint committee between the Township and Board of Education and was a liaison for the Parks and Recreation Committee, and whereas Mr. Robbins held uppermost the welfare of our students in his decisions and served with great skill and dedication, and whereas his service on the board has brought him the respect of his colleagues on the board, the administrative staff, and the teaching and support staff. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Education, on behalf of the grateful community, publicly acknowledges and expresses its sincerest appreciation to Mr. Robbins for his outstanding contributions to the West Milford Township Public School District, and be it further resolved that this resolution be spread upon the minutes of the workshop regular meeting of the Board of Education of December 19th, 2017, and presented to Mr. Rodney Robbins.
So moved.
What's that? Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Well, Will, you made the motion and I seconded it.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
All right, the second resolution we have is whereas Mr. James Foodie has served as a prominent member of the West Milford Township Board of Education from January 2015 until December 2017, and whereas Mr. Foodie has diligently served as board president, chaired the negotiations committee, served on the personnel, education, policy, and budget and finance committees, and was a liaison for the joint committee between the Township and Board of Education, Safety, and New Jersey School Boards Association. And whereas Mr. Foodie held uppermost the welfare of our students in his decisions and served with great skill and dedication, and whereas his service on the board has brought him the respect of his colleagues on the board, the administrative staff, and the teaching and support staff. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Education, on behalf of the grateful community, publicly acknowledges and expresses its sincerest appreciation to Mr. Foodie for his outstanding contributions to the West Milford Township Public School District, and be it further resolved that this resolution be spread upon the minutes of the workshop regular meeting of the Board of Education of December 19th, 2017, and presented to Mr. James Foodie.
So moved.
Thank you.
May I add something? For those out there who don't know it, Jim Foodie's been, everybody knows he's been president of the board for the last 2 years, but I don't think the average person knows how much time he put in on this.
That's right.
Jim went to most of all the committee meetings, whereas most of us were appointed to one or two committees or one or two positions. He's spent time having special meetings behind the scenes, keeping himself up to date on all kinds of things. I swear to God, it must have been another full-time job on top of your regular one. And it was amazing that you could always go to Jim Foodie and he would have a clue what's going on. Just keeping up with that kind of information as a board president had to be hugely time-consuming. So thank you, Jim, for your dedication in that position, because I don't think everyone would do that.
Thank you. Okay, so I have to do it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Need a motion to close new business, unless somebody else has something?
Whoop, over there.
Rodney.
Go ahead,
Yes, I
Rodney.
do want to comment, Jim, how cooperative and how responsive you've been during my 3 years here, and I really appreciate everything that you have done.
Yeah, thank you, Rodney. I appreciate everything that everybody's done, whether I've said it or not, and I probably haven't as much as I should have, but I appreciate all the time that everybody's put in. So thank you, Rodney. So motion to close?
Move to close. Take the spotlight. Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we have our last petitioner request for 2017. Petitioners who have requested to speak prior to the meeting will be first with 5 minutes for each petitioner for a period of 30 minutes, and then time permitting, other petitions and requests limited to 5 minutes per petitioner will be allowed until the 30-minute period transpires. All speakers are asked to give their full name, spell their last name, and provide their address. Speakers may not use the names of students during petitions and requests. Is there anybody who would like to speak?
Seeing none, move to close petitions and requests.
Second.
Thank you, Will. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Glenn, it is 10:16. Would you read the resolution for executive session?
Okay. At 10:16 p.m., I move to go into executive session for the purposes of discussing personnel appointments, resignations, current litigation matters, special education matters, negotiations, HIPs, and matters of joint conflict.
Second, thanks, Will. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We will be back after executive session to take action on HIPs.
Oh, yeah.
Gonna put them in the admin box.
And scene.